Welcome to today's video. In this one, we are talking about how to create incredible automotive content for social media, and we've got the Polestar 2 in order to do it. So with that, let's jump on into it. All right, so welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Brock Wonder. I am a social media strategist and content creator based in Toronto. And today I wanted to walk you through the fundamentals of creating eye-catching car content. And the reason why I wanted to do that is because I see a lot of car photography and videography on social media, and everybody's kind of doing it in their own way. But there is a way that is foundational, and I want to walk you through the basic fundamentals of what that looks like so that hopefully you can get started creating eye-catching car content for your own social media pages. Now, the first part of today's video is going to be about capturing angles. Every car was designed to look its best in particular ways. And generally there is a list of 3 to 5 different shots that brands or even the automotive makers are looking for when they make their cars when you're capturing your content. So we're going to jump on into it, and I'm going to walk you through the first 2 that I always start off with when I'm starting to capture a new vehicle. All right, so the first angle that I always capture is my hero angle, and that's called the 3/4 front. The way we want to design the car is we park it basically on a 20 to 30 degree angle, and we rotate the tires inward. This way, when you step back, you have a lot more depth to the car that you're capturing, and it generally is the angle that the car looks its best in. All right, so the 3/4 front really shows the most amount of depth that a car can have. The next shot is called the 7/8. And what we're gonna do is walk around the front of the car to show off more of the front of the hood and have the back of the car just slightly in frame. So the way you wanna stand for that versus the 3/4 is the 3/4 that was on the side. The 7/8, I'm gonna come around on the front right here. And if you'll notice, you have the whole other side of the lights that you're getting in the shot. All right, now if you notice where the car is currently parked, the sun's actually behind me. And we want that because when you are taking your car photography, you want to capture as much depth with your vehicles as possible. And when you backlight your subject, it generally has the shadow side in front, and that's going to be able to do that the best. The other consideration you want when you're making your automotive photos is you want your aperture set at 6 or higher. Generally speaking, you want the entire car in focus. And when your aperture is below 6, the back of the car, if you're focusing on the front, is going to be out of focus. And for social media, yeah, that kind of looks okay. But if you're really trying to capture the best looking automotive content, always keep that in mind when you're making your shots. Now, the other angles that we're gonna actually move the car along the wall here so that we can capture the next 2 photos before we switch up the location. Okay, so we moved the car and we've put it along the wall here. And the reason why is because we now need to capture a back shot, also capture the side profile, and now go for the details. So let's walk around to the back and grab that shot. So once you're at the back of the car, the trick with a lot of this is to make sure you're perpendicular to the vehicle. You want to be able to capture it with as little distortion as possible. And so whenever you're capturing a car, generally you want your focal length at 35 millimeters or 50 millimeters, because these are the focal lengths that are replicating what the human eye sees. So we're going to go ahead and capture the back of this car as flat and natural as possible. All right, now the other thing that you'll see me doing as I'm capturing the vehicles, I'm not taking any of my photos at eye level. I'm typically getting a lot lower, getting on level with the car, because that's how the car is going to look best. And the second reason you actually want to do that is because when you're capturing anything, capturing at the human eye level is the most least interesting way that you can capture something. We're always looking for unique ways to capture our shots, and getting low is the best way to do that. All right, so the last part about angles that I want to cover is about details. Now, we're going to talk about details later in this video, but I just want to mention that when you're capturing the details of your vehicle, there really are no rules. It's about you and how you make them look their best. But if I have one tip, it's to make sure that you're capturing the details off center and off on an angle. And my favorite detail to capture on any car is the badge on the front. So when you come around to the detail, you can go 70 millimeters in focal length, f2.8, high depth of field. And this way, you're really just isolating that branding component, and that's really just gonna add to your photo sets. All right, so the next tip in today's video is about location. And as you can tell, we have moved the car to a much better spot. The reason why I love this spot specifically is because it is at U of T in Toronto, and we've got an awesome leading line right in front of us, pointing directly to the CN Tower behind me, catching our viewer's eye more, and really just helping create a more dynamic photo. Other things that we're gonna be looking for while we're capturing car photography here, removing distractions in our shots. So as you can tell, there are distracting elements maybe with signage or construction signs or that kind of things, and we're gonna compose our shots in that way. And the other thing that we wanna make sure we're looking at in our locations is really using the environment around us to help tell a better story. And story is gonna be the next thing that we're gonna talk about. So for now, let's figure out how to get the best location shots possible. All right, so the one thing that we're making sure we're doing here is getting nice and low along the leading line so that we can point our camera low and up. This makes the car look a lot more aggressive and just a lot sharper in our photos rather than coming at it straight on in an example like this where we want to show off the background. So the next tip in today's video is talking about story and composition. And the reason why is it goes back to that first tip we had, which is not to shoot photos at eye level. Another thing that you can do is compositionally shoot from above and down. And that actually really enhances the story in your images. That's for two reasons. The first one is for a company like Polestar, if you look at any of their marketing material, they incorporate the natural environment into it. So one of the things that I want to do with the photos that we're taking in this spot is really include a lot of the tree elements. Maybe if there's some flowers, we can get some blurry foregrounds and just really showcase that this car fits with natural elements. The second thing that we want to do is showcase it in an old versus new setting. U of T is a historic location in Toronto. This car is very modern. You create a contrast with old versus new, something that I love to feature in my photography. And what I'm going to be doing a lot of in this location is shooting at 35mm in order to get a wide enough focal length to capture the entire scene. So what I'm going to try and do is get the car on my bottom right third, following a rule of thirds composition, have the CN Tower off into the background. And that's really just going to help guide the viewer's eye towards my subject and tell a better story. So the next part that I want to mention is capturing details. Obviously, we talked about the badge a little bit, but there are so many pieces about this car that we really need to showcase that not only are going to elevate your photo sets, but if you do ever want to shoot for an automotive brand, really going to step up the creative that you're going to give them at the end of the day. Now, one of the most underrated things you can actually photograph on a car are its mirrors. I love capturing side view mirrors because you have a natural leading line that comes across the edge of the car and it just leads to this little touch element that just is a unique capture that most people won't get. And remember, there are no rules when you're capturing details. One thing that a lot of people won't notice is inside the headlight is actually a Polestar badge. And if you capture literally like a macro shot of the light itself, it just looks like such a sick photo. So we're gonna do that right now. All right, and whenever you're capturing a car, you always have to look at the grille. Obviously, the Polestar 2 is an electric car, but they decided to still put a grille on it. And what I love to do with front hood grills is just capture it at 70mm, high depth of field, f2.8. And especially with the repetition in the hood with the leading lines, you just get a crazy shot. All right, and for the final tip of today's video, it is to shoot for the medium. While Instagram and Twitter and Threads now are really designed for photos, they're very much becoming a video dominant medium. And so I want to show you how to capture that eye-catching 3-part automotive B-roll that you see all over your Explore page right now and give you the rundown about how that works. All right, so generally how these videos work is you need to create an interesting contrast in each frame. And what I mean by that is start in the middle box of your video, and there you're gonna capture a wide shot. That's your establishing shot for your 3-part structure. Then you want to include a detail shot, maybe that's a headlight or a badge of the vehicle, and then another shot can be a medium or a detail shot additionally. You want to slow these down for about 3 to 10 seconds and really just capture it in the most atmospheric way possible. If you really want to get experimental with it, just capture general B-roll of the area as you would your photos and try to include that in order to enhance the story of what your B-roll looks like. All right, so overall, this is what I'm gonna call the beginner's guide to automotive content. It should get you started capturing cars in the most eye-catching way possible. I'm pretty pumped that we were able to bring the Polestar around the city tonight and check out a couple of spots, some more automotive content coming along the way on this channel, especially with new EV cars. I just think that they look so good right now. And I also love the sustainability aspect. And I really just wanna focus on those environmental, innovative tech products that are coming out, and EV cars is definitely one of them. So with that, I hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you did have any questions or comments, feel free to put them down below. Send me a DM. And as always, thank you for watching. And I hope to see you all in the next one.